Good morning, Hope City. My name's Gabe.
And I'm Adam. So glad that you're here with us this morning. Thanks for joining us for our November online experience.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Thanksgiving week or weekend following Thanksgiving now, Gabe?
Yes,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving was Thursday.
Yep.
I got a question for you, Adam, though.
Yes.
What is your favorite side at Thanksgiving?
My favorite side from Thanksgiving. Oh, man, so many. But I think I have to go with like that sweet potato casserole that basically is like a dessert, like sweet potatoes, so it kind of feels healthy, but then it's got like the cinnamon and like
the marshmallows and stuff on
marshmallows
top?
is like through the roof.
Yeah.
That's basically s'mores for like Thanksgiving side.
Okay.
Yeah, how about you?
I think I would have to go mashed potatoes or green beans. I think I'm pretty not normal, but like meat and potatoes kind of boring about that stuff.
Yeah, those are solid,
Dude,
man.
mashed potatoes are awesome.
Yeah, solid option there. But hey, we would love to hear from you. What was your favorite part of Thanksgiving? What's maybe your favorite Thanksgiving side? Be sure to comment below and just engage with us through this. You can like this if this is helpful to you or you think it'll be helpful to your friends. Be sure to share this video as well. But man, we are starting a brand new church here in Northwest Arkansas. And here's what we're all about. We want to help people experience Jesus for who he really is. And in a way that we believe changes our lives, right? Like Jesus didn't just come to like make our life better, but he came to like actually change something that's going on. And then that goes on to do something. Gabe, it goes on to impact generations with his hope. And we do that by creating these environments where you're going to hear a lot of this today, where no matter where you are, what you've done, what's been done to you, no matter what you believe right now, we hope you get to experience Jesus when you come up close with Hope City and this community. And man, we would love to help you do that. So we got a few ways you can do that by connecting with us. How can people connect with us, Gabe?
So we offer we do 3 rhythms a month where we gather, party, and serve. Where we gather as a community, we party as a community, and then we serve our communities.
Yeah.
And so really we've got a few ways up this beginning of December 5th, we're having our next in-person gathering at the after-school program in Springdale. And the information for that is below. And then December 3rd, we actually have a Christmas skate night party that's going to be awesome. We're doing it at the Lawrence Plaza in Bentonville. And really just come out for that. It's going to be an awesome night. Even if you don't skate, you can have some hot cocoa and just hang out. But if you want to register for that, the link for that will be below. And I'll just let us know how many, give us a heads up on who's going to be there, and it's going to be an awesome night, really.
Yeah, man. Personally, I'm pumped for the skate night. I'm a hockey player. I know that's a rarity in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped for the skate night. It's going to be awesome. Hey, the other thing we got going on right now, Gabe, you talked about serving our community, but we have a Christmas drive going on for one of our partner schools, Tyson Elementary. Over 70% of Tyson is on free or reduced lunch, and they put together Christmas gifts for their students every year. We've been asked to partner with some of their other community partners to help put these together. So we are collecting kid-size hats and gloves and travel-size tubes of toothpaste. You can collect those and drop them off at our gathering on December 5th. But man, we want to make sure that Tyson Elementary, their families and kids have an awesome Christmas. And we just really want to make a difference in the lives of our community. So you can drop those off at our gathering December 5th, but go ahead and start gathering all that stuff. We also have some ways, Gabe, if people see this and they're like, man, I just want to connect, I want to know more. You can follow us on social media. Our Instagram is at Hope City NWA. Follow us right here on Facebook, on YouTube, or you can go to hopefornwa.city/connect. You can fill out our connect card there, and that's an opportunity for us to just kind of dialogue back and forth, and maybe we'll set up some time to hang out, grab some coffee or lunch, and we'd love to share more with what's going on with Hope City, and we'd love to have you join us to come be part of what we're doing in planting a new church here. But for this morning, Gabe, we've got a great morning planned. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect?
Yeah, so we're going to have some great worship, an awesome story from Kevin and Peggy, 2 of the people that are super awesome and have helped us a lot with our plant. And Adam's going to do a great job just teaching through some things. And
well, thank you for that.
No problem. But it's going to be a great morning. I think it's going to be an awesome morning. Yeah,
welcome to Hope City. We hope you enjoy.
Hey, welcome to Hope City. We're so glad we get to worship together today and celebrate that Jesus is alive. Come on, let's lift our voices and sing to him. See the tomb where he lay, see the stone rolled away. He is risen, he's alive. See his hands, see his feet, touch his scars. Yes, he's alive. Come on, we rest in this today. You took all our shame, left it in the grave. We're forgiven. Yes, we're forgiven. The work forever done, only by the blood. It is finished. Yes, it is finished.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our November online experience. If we've not had the chance to meet before, my name's Adam. I'm the lead pastor here, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. Today we're wrapping up this third part of a 3-part series we've been doing called This Is Us, where we've been looking at the real lives of real people who make up this community called Hope City and what we value most as a church. And even more than that, as we plant this new church here in Northwest Arkansas, we're looking at what Jesus envisioned when it comes to this community called the church. And so back in September, we looked at this idea that Jesus, he's intended the church to be just that, a community that's built on the foundation of who he is. And what we found is that foundation, it's a strong foundation, one so strong that not even the gates of hell will be able to stop what Jesus wants to accomplish through the church. And we found that this community is a place not just for those who are following Jesus or who have it all together, but the church exists and Hope City exists for people who don't know what we believe yet. You know, people like you and me, people who are working through our stuff and maybe just trying to make sense of it all. And that's what we looked at last month. This community, it's made up of a whole bunch of people who know, man, we are a work in progress. We know we don't have our stuff together. We know we still have a lot of stuff to work out between us and Jesus. And we hold on to the idea that Jesus will be faithful to see this work called our lives through to completion. See, that's what we found when Jesus envisioned this community called the church. He envisioned something real, right? He envisioned real people with real lives coming together in real community where with Jesus, real progress, or how about this, a better way to do life, it's actually possible. Jesus envisioned a community where our questions and our fears and our doubts could be worked out, not hidden or denied like beneath the surface. And while we might not have all the answers to our questions yet, maybe what we found is a faith that isn't absent of questions, but a real faith. You know, the kind of faith that stands up even though we have questions. See, Jesus envisioned a community where the diagnosis, the addiction, the broken relationships, the hurt that we've experienced along the way, those things don't have to be carried alone or hidden behind a mask or explained away now that we're following Jesus. Like, I'm following Jesus now, boom, all my problems went away. It doesn't work that way. Jesus envisioned a community to work through all of our stuff, and as he starts to change our lives, we find that we were created on purpose and for a purpose. See, Jesus didn't promise a church that would play it safe, one that would be all clean and sanitized, one that would be comfortable and without risk. No, what Jesus promised us was that the church would go all the way up against the gates of hell, and not even then would his mission and purpose be stopped. See, Jesus promised us that in the church, there's a life of purpose and meaning and value, a life lived on mission. So what is that mission? And how do we best live out that mission in our context today as Hope City? And so to set this up a little bit, I want to share a story with you that I heard from a pastor named Tim Selleck one time. Tim tells how in the early days of the United States, in New England, the ocean and sailing, they were essential to the life of the community. It was a means for work and income and food, and even today, it continues to be essential both for providing work and for fun and for great seafood, right? The problem is, sailing is dangerous and the ocean is unpredictable. So in response to ships sinking and lives being lost, these fishermen and sailors, they set up these groups called rescue societies. And these rescue societies were designed so that when a ship would be in distress, these people would be on standby to go out and rescue those whose ship was sinking. And what's really interesting about these groups is that they were made up typically of people who had been victims of shipwrecks themselves. And so someone had come to rescue them, and in response to being rescued, what had been done for them, they wanted to go out and rescue other people now. In fact, this shared experience of having been rescued and now being rescuers themselves, it formed these really tight bonds between them, and this community of shared experience and mission started to form. During their downtime, they hung out together, they ate meals together, and they're sailors, so let's be honest, they drank together, right? But over time, something started to happen. These rescue societies and people who had been rescued, they started to enjoy the community, the hanging out, more than they loved the mission that brought them together in the first place. See, their mission was to go out and rescue. But hanging out together, it was fun, it was all good. And this work of rescuing, it was just hard, and there was risk involved. In fact, many of these rescue societies, they stopped rescuing altogether. And when they did, they just became yacht clubs. They started to enjoy this community and the people around them, and they forgot their purpose and mission that brought them together to begin with. And so the earliest yacht clubs in our country formed out of these rescue societies when they lost sight of their mission. And some of these yacht clubs still exist today. See, rescuing, it requires risk, right? Rescuing required a mission of these rescue societies and a shared vision to see that mission carried out. And when these rescue societies lost sight of the mission, the risk involved, it started to feel too great. And man, for many of us, that's been our experience in the church, hasn't it? When the church loses sight of our mission, the life of faith and risk and adventure and purpose that Jesus has invited us into, when that gets lost, we become kind of like yacht clubs. And I know for those of you who aren't followers of Jesus yet, maybe this is why you don't want anything to do with the church. It feels like a holier-than-thou country club when you look at it, right? And for those who do follow Jesus, maybe the church losing sight of the mission, maybe that's why you left the church, or why you're just bored with church, or maybe worse yet, maybe you're still part of the church, but you're actually standing in the way of someone who needs rescue because you think you're part of a country club or a yacht club. So it's absolutely critical when we talk about This Is Us to understand what Jesus' mission and purpose is for us now, because the church was never intended to be a yacht club. We're intended to be a rescue society, one that takes risk, one whose mission goes all the way up against the gates of hell. And we talked about this last time, but after Jesus' death and resurrection, he spent 40 days with his disciples breaking down this mission. They hung out together and they ate meals together. They had conversations with each other. And it was in this time that Jesus proved to them that he had in fact been raised from the dead. And his resurrection formed the basis for their new mission and purpose in life. Because if a guy predicts his own resurrection or death and resurrection, then he goes on to pull it off, then you should probably go with him. Because everything he claimed about himself, it's probably true. And everything he promised for your life, it's probably true as well. If he comes back to life and says, hey, follow me, you should probably go with him. And so Jesus, he spends this time with his disciples proving that he's alive and showing them that when their faith is in him, rescue from this old life that's left them in death, it's actually possible. Like death doesn't win, resurrection into a new life, a better way to do life. It's available right here, right now, today. It's life with Jesus. And then he goes on to tell them to take that good news, this message of hope, this message of rescue to everyone, everywhere. See, with this better way to do life comes a mission. Some of Jesus' final marching orders for his disciples and for us today, his mission for us, it's actually recorded in the Bible. It's found in Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 through 20. And in this, Jesus is going to lay out his purpose for our lives today and ultimately what his mission is for the church back then and today. Matthew 28, verse 18, it says that Jesus came to them and he said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. See, in this mission, Jesus gives us a few promises. First, he's given all authority. He's been given all authority. He holds all things together. He is the foundation that's strong enough to go up against the gates of hell. And he closes it out with this promise, surely I am with you always. I'm with you when the rescuing gets tough. I'm with you when the risk is great. When life gets hard and we're tempted just to go and turn into a yacht club, what Jesus says is, I'm with you. Don't lose sight of the mission. And then he lays out the mission. Did you catch that? Our mission, our reason for existing as a church is to make disciples. See, that word disciple, it just means a follower of a certain teacher, our King Jesus, who holds all authority, who came back from the dead to prove it's true. He's inviting us into the way of life he lived, and he wants us to invite others along as well. And see, this mission, it's an everyday mission. When Jesus says, go and make disciples, we can be tempted to think that we need to go around the world or go on a mission trip somewhere or go to that part of town to those kinds of people. But that word go, it's actually better translated as you go. As you go to work, as you go to school, as you go to the store, as you go to your kids' ball games, as you go about your everyday life, make other followers of Jesus, make disciples. See, disciple making, it's all about relationships in an everyday context. It's about living life with Jesus and with people in a way that gives them a chance to see who Jesus is and what he's like, and it gives them an opportunity to enter into life with Jesus as well, into a better way to do life. Jesus said it this way in Luke chapter 19, verse 10. He said, for the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. And in saying that, Jesus helps us understand something really important when it comes to the church and our mission. Our mission is a rescue mission. It's a rescue mission. We're not a yacht club. We are intended to be a rescue society. And see, when we understand the extent that Jesus was willing to go to in order to bring us from death to life, to give himself up for us, to find us at our worst, or as Romans says, that while we were still enemies to him, that's when Jesus rescued us. Then we start to understand that we were rescued for a purpose. We were rescued to be rescuers ourselves. That our church, it's not a yacht club, but we're a rescue society. And so around here at Hope City, we say it this way. We say, engage the mission. Man, we have to engage the mission. That's actually one of our values around here. It means that we know how far Jesus has gone to rescue us, and we know that we can't grow spiritually without putting our faith into practice. And so growing means going. It means going to our friends and our family, our neighbors, our coworkers, our schools and our workplaces, our baristas and our bartenders. It means investing in the lives of other people and helping them see who Jesus is and what he's like in everyday life. It means we know that we've been rescued to be rescuers. And this rescue mission, it's going to require something of us. It's actually going to take something from us. It means that we have to have risky faith. Risky faith. That's another one of our values. It means that we're going to trust God to do what only he can do in our lives and in the lives of our friends. We're going to refuse to settle for spiritual complacency, yacht club kind of faith. But what we're going to do is we're going to step out in risky faith, trusting Jesus to be true to his promise to be with us as we engage the mission. So what does all this look like practically? I mean, you might be going, hey, Adam, like this making disciples, engaging the mission, risky faith, like that sounds great in a church service, but how does this work in the real world? Well, to answer that question, I'm going to introduce you to some of my friends here in a minute, but first I want to take us back to an encounter that Jesus had with a group of friends that happened about 3/4 of the way through his ministry. It was a group of friends who had risky faith. It was a group of friends who knew what it meant to engage the mission. It's a group of friends who were willing to do whatever it took to get their friend who needed rescue to Jesus. It was a group of friends who, in spite of the religious people living like a yacht club, blocking the way to Jesus, these friends, they formed a rescue society. Now, there's a lot we can break down in this story, and there's a lot going on in this story, but for our purposes here this morning, we're just going to read the story as it's recorded by Luke, because I think the story on its own, it kind of just speaks for itself. And then we're going to make some observations on who was there that day and how we can start to apply this to our lives today. So Luke chapter 5, starting in verse 17, it says that one day Jesus was teaching, and the Pharisees and teachers of the law, they were all sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal the sick that day. And some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat, and they tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. But when they could not find a way in because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and they lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. And so when Jesus saw this and he saw their faith, he said, "Hey friend, your sins are forgiven." And the Pharisees and the teachers of the law who were there, they began thinking to themselves in their head, "Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" And Jesus, remember, Jesus who has all authority, Jesus who's getting ready to pull off his own death and resurrection party, right? Jesus knew what they were thinking, and he asked them a question. "Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or get up and walk?" See, we can fall into this yacht club mentality when our faith in Jesus starts to become about what's in it for us. And we have a hard time celebrating Jesus' work in the lives of those kinds of people. Or worse, we can place ourselves at the center of our faith and think it's all about us and not about Jesus. So Jesus asks them this really important question. Then he goes on, he says, "But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." And I think he's going, even your sins. And so he said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up and take your mat and go home." And immediately he stood up in front of them. He took what he'd been lying on his mat and he went home praising God. And then everyone, including the religious leaders, they were amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and they said, "We have seen remarkable things today." I mean, what an amazing story. And again, there's a lot going on here and a lot we could cover, but for our purposes here this morning, I want to take a look at who is showing up to be with Jesus that day and what we learn about engaging the mission. So the first group of people that were there are the people who got in the way. Sometimes we lose sight of our mission and we like all the benefits that come along with this community called the church, and we like being with Jesus, but we forget that our purpose is to help other people get to him as well, and we just kind of stand around and get in the way. And so in this story, who got in the way? Well, it was the Pharisees, the religious leaders, the ones who thought they had it all together. See, in our context, it's what happens when the church becomes a yacht club. We actually start to block the way of people who are trying to get to Jesus, people who need to get to him. And we go, "Jesus, what do you have to offer us?" And we forget about the people around us. So the second group of people that are there is someone who needs rescue, the paralyzed man. This was a man who was clearly in need of some form of rescue. And we don't know why he was paralyzed or what had happened to him. But what we do know about the religious context of the day was that the religious leaders would have looked at this man and they would have understood his paralysis to be his fault. They would have seen it as a result of his sin or his parents' sin, because if someone didn't sin in this, if someone didn't do something wrong, this bad thing wouldn't have happened to him. Does that sound familiar to anyone? And so do you notice what Jesus does first? What Jesus addresses first before he moves on to the physical need this man has? He forgives his sins. He offers him the deep healing that he and all of us need on a soul level. And I think he's showing the Pharisees, you need forgiveness too. And then to prove his authority, he tells the man, "Get up and walk." See, the reality is we all sin. Man, we're all jacked up. We're all broken. We're all hurting on some level. We are all in need of rescue. And in times like that, we just need to get up close with Jesus. We need friends, a community who will remove any barrier necessary and whatever obstacles are in the way. Friends who will do whatever it takes to get us up close with Jesus. Those are the kind of friends this man had. And that leads us to the third group of people. Man, we need friends who are willing to rip the roof off the freaking house for us. See, when these friends, they got this man to Jesus and they saw it was crowded, they could have gone, "Oh man, Chuck, sorry if that's a guy's name. Jesus is busy today. We'll just have to come back tomorrow." Or, "Hey, I guess Jesus just has too much going on to take care of you today." No, what did they do? They knew their friend needed rescue, so they carried him up on the roof of this house and they lowered him through a hole in the roof. How did that hole get there? Because they made it. They ripped the freaking roof off the house in order to get their friend to Jesus. And when Jesus looked up and he saw this happening, Luke records something really interesting. It says that when Jesus saw their faith, the faith of the friends, the faith of the man laying on the mat, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." You know what he didn't say? He didn't say, "Why'd you make that hole?" or "Who's going to clean up this mess?" or "Who's going to pay for that?" No, he saw what they were doing as an act of risky faith. ripping the roof off a house, doing whatever it takes to get our friends to Jesus, that's pretty risky faith, isn't it? See, sometimes we're the friends who are laying on a stretcher or a mat, and we need to be rescued. And we have to have someone who has enough faith that's willing to bring us to Jesus. But other times, especially if you've been in the church for a long time, man, we could fall into the group of people that just need to get out of the way, right? Maybe we've become the people who stand between people and Jesus. We're in it for what we can get out of it for ourselves. And we've gone from seeing the church as being a rescue society for the good of others to being a yacht club for our own good. And if you're in that group, man, it's time to get back on mission. But other times, we have friends in our lives who need us to do whatever it takes to rip the roof off of a house in order to get them to Jesus. Look, that's what it's like to live out risky faith. That's what it looks like to engage the mission. Are we willing to do whatever it takes to build relationships and get our friends up close to Jesus, to let Him do what only He can do in people's lives? And see, when we talk about people who live out their lives of mission, on mission, and when we think about what risky faith looks like, I think of a lot of people who are around here at Hope City, because church planting can't happen without engaging the mission in risky faith. But I especially think of two people, Kevin and Peggy Richmond. And I want to introduce you to them right now.
Hi, I'm Peggy Richmond, and this is Kevin, my husband, and we've been married 39 years, and this is our story.
It's been a great 39 years, but at the same time, it's been rough at times, and especially within, our spiritual life. But first of all, I've got to say, I love this lady very much. I did not know what PDA stood for until a couple of months ago, and I guess that was a PDA. And when we got married, I was not a Christian, and Peggy was, so she had that Christian life modeled for her, which I didn't. And I want to get this out there right now. I love my parents to death. They just didn't have it modeled to them, and it created a cycle of this non-Christian household that we had. So I knew nothing about Christianity when we got married, but Peggy had a deep-seated need to go down that road, and it just totally just confused the heck out of me because I didn't understand what it was about, and I just kind of tagged along for the first part of our marriage. At the age of 24, after we'd been married 5 or 6 years, she finally sucked me in. And I went to church with her and ending up getting baptized at the age of 24.
Yeah, with me, church was my happy place. That's where I found God. That's where my peace was. I feel like that's how I survived growing up. And I was hungry for it all the time. And I needed God to get through, family life with our marriage. I knew that was my strength.
Well, it was difficult for me because, she was wanting me to be this person, and I didn't know how to be that person, and I really didn't know that I wanted to be that person. We started going to church, and there was just something that didn't make any sense about this whole experience to me. And so, over the course of the next 20 years, I would go to church with her, but I probably found myself actually faking it and just doing it more because she wanted me to. I found myself wanting more. And every church that we had went to, I didn't find those people in that church that I could respect. And in order to frame this a little bit, about the time that we started going to church, I also became a policeman. And I remained current to this day. I'm on the verge of retirement, but I've been a police officer for basically 38 years. And that kind of shaped my mentality about what I was looking for as well as anything did. All I knew was that I couldn't go to a church where I didn't respect the men, I couldn't respect the preacher. I had to have somebody that I could respect and that I could follow and that I could get behind and charge after this thing that God gives us.
I was introduced to Flatirons in Colorado, and I was real excited once I started listening. I was like, I want Kevin to get a piece of this because it really motivated me. I got excited, and it was different. It was just totally different than we've ever experienced. And so I said, just listen.
And I don't know what it was, but she sent me one of the sermons from Flatirons that Jim Bergen's preached. And I was immediately struck that, hey, this guy is saying something that I can get behind. For the first time in my life, I finally, maybe there was somebody out there that was like me, that I could get behind and that could teach me the way that this thing was really supposed to happen. So we started going to Colorado. We'd go once a month at least and go to church out there. And the more we immersed ourselves in that environment, the stronger I found myself growing in my spirituality.
I seen our respect for each other change. I seen our communication really change. And I felt like we were on the same page. And I can see what I was getting from God, he was getting it as well. And he was getting really powerful with God. And it was like we were wanting more and more. But we wanted it here in Fayetteville is where we wanted it. We just want a church that we can go to and fellowship with people as well here in Arkansas.
I seen a Instagram post from Flatirons West in Colorado where they were saying goodbye to their pastor who was coming to Northwest Arkansas to plant a new church. And it's like, my God, this guy's an idiot. Why in the heck would he leave Colorado to come to Arkansas? I just couldn't quite get it. And that's where we met Adam, and he explained the vision of what they were trying to do here with Hope City, that was partnered with Hope City in Joplin and Flatirons through Colorado, through teachings of Jim Bergen at Flatirons, and after Adam arrived in Arkansas, in our talks we were shown or discovered this men's and women's organization called the Crucible Project, a place for men and women to go and create a safe container where they can go work out some of their issues that they've got that they've never been able to work out before over a weekend. So Peggy and I both have gotten involved in this Crucible Project, and something that I've got to say that I'm very, very proud of her, because she's probably, again, taken the lead on our spirituality here when it was probably my role. And now I'm following her, and she's really got involved in this. And so bringing this all back together between Flatirons to Hope City to Adam and the Crucible Project, our spirituality has just blossomed, and I came into such a closer walk with God than I never knew existed before. And it's all because that God put these things out here and tied it all together for us. There's no other way to explain it.
With Hope City, I'm catching myself receiving from these people from Hope City, even the one in Joplin. I'm connecting there, and I'm receiving so much, and it feels home, it feels real, and I need real, and I need these people. I didn't think I did, but I need these people.
What is Hope City to us? What does it mean to us? It's exactly what it says. It's hope. And there's hope for our future. And, it's hope.
What we have, we want everybody else to feel what we feel. And that it's God. It's God, and we're getting that.
Hope City has been able to give us an opportunity to not only grow our faith, but to share our faith with other people. And we do it in such a way that it's not conventional. It's very unconventional. I think that has a tendency to draw other people like me that are looking for something that they haven't been able to find at any other church. Hope City gives us a safe place that we can come and that we can work out our issues and we can work out our problems with other people helping us along the way, and most importantly, having Jesus Christ there amongst us in a safe environment to work this stuff out. I don't have to be ashamed of anything. I don't have to be afraid of anything. I don't have to worry about the things that I've done this week, the things that I've said, because you know what? The other people that I'm in that room with have done the same exact things that I have done, and I know that, and that makes it easy for me to come together and share our experiences and just work out our crap.
Come as we are.
Man, I just love Kevin and Peggy, and what I love about their story specifically is I think it just captures so much of who we are when we talk about this is us as Hope City. Kevin and Peggy, they talk about a place where they can just be real, they can be themselves. Their challenge before was like finding a community where they go, man, we can do life together with people that we look around and they're struggling through the same things, they're going through the same things, and really what they're looking at is, do we have friends around us that can get us up close with Jesus when we need to be there? And do we have a church where we are willing to rip off the stinking roof to get people up close to Jesus? Kevin and Peggy, man, when they think of being on mission together, what I love is they think of a place like Hope City. This is who we are. We are on mission together. And I just want to say to you as we close out today, as we close out this series, This Is Us, man, if you're hurting, and you're going, I just need to get up close to Jesus, and there's a lot of barriers that feels like are in between, and I'm not even sure how I'm going to get there. Man, we have people like Kevin and Peggy that are willing to do whatever it takes to come alongside you, to put their arms around you, to love you no matter where you are, what you've done, or what's been done to you, no matter what you believe right now. We are willing just to create space for you to get to know and experience, or as Kevin said it, to bump into Jesus. And I know that there's others of you that are out there and you're going, man, I am just looking for a community, a place where I can bring my friends, where I can tear the roof off the building if that's what it takes to get them up close to Jesus. And we want to be that community for you and with you. We just want people to come to experience Jesus and the hope that he offers. We are a community where we want to eliminate all those barriers that get between people and Jesus. And they just get to get up close with him, and they get to experience him. When it comes down to it, man, what happens on our weekends, what happens on Sundays, it all drives one thing. It all drives the mission that Jesus has called us into. That's to make disciples. That's to make other followers of him. And we are willing to do whatever it takes to get us there. This is us. We are on mission.
Let's respond together this morning and sing. Wherever you lead me, whatever it costs me, all I want is you. Jesus, all I want is you. Wherever you lead me, whatever it costs me, all I want is you. Jesus, all I want is you. Sing this together. You make it easy to love you. You are good and you are kind. You bring joy into my life. You make it easy to trust you. You have never left my side. You've been faithful every time. And all I
Well, thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but when I was hearing Kevin and Peggy's story and them talking, I just loved how passionate and on fire they were for the mission and how they saw the mission here at Hope City as a way to partner with us doing that. Right, Adam?
Yeah, and even beyond that, I mean, Kevin said this. He goes, but the way that this has all kind of come together, he goes, it's a God thing. Like, you couldn't have made up this story of like a couple in Arkansas connecting with a church in Colorado, driving to Colorado, and then coming back here and going, we see a need for a church like this in this area. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of, because of the pandemic, we got to connect because Flatirons allowed us to announce coming here via video, and like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Kevin and Peggy got to hear the story, and now they're on mission with us. And so if you're out there and you're watching this today and you're going, I would just love to be part of a new church. I would love to be part of helping see something new start where we can be real, we can process through all of our stuff, and we can get up close and experience Jesus. Man, Hope City is for you. Not only is Hope City is for you, but we need you. We would love to challenge you and invite you to come be part of what God's doing here. We're looking at launching every weekend gatherings early next year, and we'll get more details to you on that soon. But what it takes for this to happen is literally a community of people, God bringing together people to go, hey, we will say yes to being this church. And so, Gabe, there's a few ways people can get connected and involved. Would you remind us of those real quick?
Yeah, so our next in-person gathering is going to be December 5th at the after-school program. Details are below, so just be on the lookout for that. And then actually before that gathering, we have a party on December 3rd at the Lawrence Plaza. We were talking about an awesome skate night where it's just going to be fun. But I think that's about it for what's coming up, right?
Yeah, beyond that, be sure to go to hopefornwa.city/connect. That's a great way for you to let us know that you're out there and watching and that you want to get involved. And if you just want to have a conversation with us, we would love to meet you and do that. But Gabe, we're wrapping up Thanksgiving weekend. It's Sunday, getting ready to roll back into December. The holidays are coming.
Crazy.
Any final wisdom for us as we wrap up here today?
Not go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Hey guys, again, thanks for being here. We'll talk to you soon.